Well, that's what the lookout of my window is like today. This is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. This is a toll plaza on I-90 in Ohio. I'm just about to leave. So it's 10 minutes after 7. My shipper is 25 kilometers away, which is 15 miles, less than 15 miles. No, 15. So I got here yesterday. I drove empty from Canada, crossed over Blue Water Bridge into Port Huron, and there was a huge ship going under the bridge right when I was passing, but I didn't have my camera with me. The camera was back in the backpack. It was interesting. Like, it's such a huge ship, you know. That's why that bridge is so steep, because they want to be able to allow big ships cross underneath. And I saw a bunch of people. There was a big lineup on the bridge, so I was looking at the Canadian side, US side. There's a bunch of people near the river, because there's walkways and pathways, and I was kind of envious, like, I'm working, right? I'm working, but I see people strolling down the sidewalk, you know, the pathway, or people sitting on the bench enjoying the view of the river. And the water from the top looked like, that's why it's called, you know, Blue Water Bridge. The water looked like really blue, bright blue. Not everywhere, but, you know, especially in the middle. And then I drove through Detroit. Hate that place, always crazy traffic. And crossed into Ohio, jumped on 280 from I-75, 280, and then jumped on the stall I-80, I-90, which is the same highway here, right? So I just need to go to pretty much, I think it's either the next exit or the exit after that one. I think it's called Ohio Highway 4, OH-4. And actually there is a truck stop there as well, right there, like, you know, 5 minutes away from my shipper. But I wanted to stay on here because it's more pleasant, you know. But many people left reviews about this plaza saying that there's nothing to eat. Like they say, after like 7 o'clock, if you're here later, after 7 o'clock or something, like only Burger King is open. There's hardly any food here, you know. And so when I was in Port Huron, but they do have Starbucks here, which of course the prices are inflated compared to regular Starbucks, because it's a toll plaza, so it's like probably 50% higher than at a regular Starbucks. So I wasn't able to afford the Venti Americano. I was only able to afford a Grande, and it was still like $4.20 US. Whereas in most places this would be probably $2.40, $2.50, you know, US. And so knowing, you know, I read those reviews on Trucker Path and saying that there's hardly any food here. And so I made sure when I stopped in Port Huron at that Marathon Gas in Smith Creek, I got full tanks of fuel. It was 3.20 per gallon. I could not do it on my last trip because they were changing all the pumps. They were upgrading all the pumps. You know, I showed up there with that last load that I was taking into Ohio. Remember that, what did I have? Yeah, that German machine, right? And I stopped and put fuel. I stopped over there that Marathon Gas couldn't get fuel, had to go to Love's where it was much higher price. But now I went there, they have all the new diesel pumps in place. Everything looks shiny, blank, you know, brand new. The same Marathon, just they upgraded all the diesel pumps. And they're much faster. The diesel, you know, before some of the pumps had smaller hoses, and it was taking a long time to fill up a tank. So I got 170 gallons, you know, because the price was good, $3.20 a gallon. And then I just walked across the street and I bought lots of food at the what is it? That big grocery store over there. I got water, and I still have my protein bars, I have my protein shake, I still have this. That's I use for the protein shake. So everything was good, and there was no mosquitoes. Very interesting. So I was able to open windows and had my fan hooked up to the sun visor, but it was still very hot. You know, I didn't want to idle the engine again to not to rack up engine hours. You know, better for resale value, and you don't want to kill the engine with all this idling. So yeah, it was very, very hot. Probably 85, 87 F, you know, close to 30 C. So anyway, I'm just gonna finish my protein bar and start driving to the shipper and load this big BRON. It's called BRON, B-R-O-N, 450 drainage plow. And my broker says make sure you call the shipper, you know, to advise them you're coming. And so I talked to this guy named Charlie. Surprisingly, he answered the phone I was given. Usually they give you a wrong phone or that person is not available. So this time it was a miracle. The phone worked, the phone number was correct, and the guy that answered the phone says, "This is Charlie." Unbelievable. So sometimes wonders do happen. And so I talked to this gentleman, and another wonder is, I said, "Did they tell you the machine has to be washed?" And he said, "Oh yeah, and we have a power washer here, so once you get loaded, we already cleaned it up, but once it gets loaded on your trailer, we're gonna rinse the tracks off." Like, what? What's happening over here? You know, usually no. I'm always fighting them, right, about washing. Like, this guy answers the phone, says the machine is ready to go, and I asked him, I said, "Does this thing have those huge grousers, or is that like more of a regular setup?" And he says, "No, actually this one, it's an older model. It's what's happening here is that they are sending it to the factory for I'm thinking like overhaul, you know, repair, maybe add some attachment, something. So basically it's going back to Woodstock, Ontario for some big repair." And he says it's an older machine, and so he says the grousers are pretty much what you see on a dozer. And I'm like, thank you, because you know the advanced models, the grousers are like this, and it's really hard on the trailer. And last time they gave me some conveyor belting, but this time, you know, you're picking up the machine in the field, nobody will have a conveyor belting, right? And so it turns out this is not such a bad load as I thought it would be. And so, and last thing I asked him, I said, does this thing does it have the knife or the blade that it usually comes with? And he says, no, we took the blade off. first off, that thing is very difficult to park on the trailer. You have to play with it, you know, because it goes like this, right? The big plow attachment, and then, yeah, that's the proper word, plow. And so it looks like they took it away because they only need to repair the machine itself. And so this means that the machine will be easier to load, easier to unload, and less damage for the trailer. And also the machine should be lighter. Like they told me it's 83,000 pounds. I'm pretty sure it's less than 80, but I ordered my permits yesterday. I said give me 19,000 per axle on 8 axles. So I asked for 19 times 8, 152,000 gross, and my empty weight is 60. You know, always just cover your butt and ask for more weight. So then at least, you know, if one of the axles is overloaded, you're not gonna get a huge fine. You'll get a small fine for just that little overload, because you want to have your overall gross weight always higher than what it is, you know. That's the best. That's how I do it now, because, you know, you try to save a couple of bucks and then you end up, you know, with a big fine. They really don't like it when, let's say, your gross weight is 157 and on the permit you have 149. They don't like that. So I'm pretty sure they're not gonna send me on 80. I asked him on the permit. Itself is okay, but the toll lanes, usually that's where the problem is, and that's the on the right there. There's a marathon station. That's the one I said is like 5 minutes away. Stop here and wait for my permits. side, left hand side. So now I'm just driving and looking for a big ugly monster machine in the field.
In 500 meters, your destination will be on the left.
Alright, 500 meters, so that's like the next field. There we go. I see something on the right. Why is it on the right? People love this. Alright, so this is the monster, boys and girls. So it's an older model BRON 450, and I had to walk, I have to drive, actually I have to back. See how my truck is facing? I had to back all the way. That's highway, no, that's what is called, something tracked road. It was very tough backing from a blind side, but I made it. The guys blocked the traffic. And of course now I'm thinking, how in heck am I gonna get out of here? Because the only way for me to go is this way, because to go left it's a much sharper turn, and there's some kind of like electric box on the side there. So this way it's not 90 degrees, it's more like 110, you know, even 120, but there's a ditch in there, and I was able to make it empty, but I know loaded I'm gonna be much lower. I hope I don't get stuck in here. So I drove the trailer, and they said it's 12 wide. Turns out it's actually more like 11 wide, but I added a few inches. So I just called my permit lady. I said, okay, make it 11.6, and the height is not 12. It's because they removed the blade. You see, this thing is shipping without the blade, which was the tallest point. So now the tallest point is that thing over there. Where the cable, where the pipe goes in. So that's taller than the cab. Yeah, we're gonna spin it around so that the blade, or where it used to be, is gonna facing this way. And it's all soy. You see, they're growing soy. I asked him what it is. The guy said it's soy. Okay. good.
Yeah, the valve went out in that. We're looking for some cribbing real quick so I can tilt it back up and then we can chain it. The valve on that one side for the tilt cylinder blew out. That's why it leaned over like that.
When did it blow out? Right now?
When we were doing this job.
Oh, okay.
But if we can crib it up, it won't do that. 'Cause I remember we hauled it one time and that happened, and we were taking a turn to get on the interstate.
What about the pipe? say it's going to the factory to fix this twisting thing. Basically, it has some cylinders that allow this machine to turn like that, and ask them why is that needed, and they said when it's working on a heel, it says the machine is designed so that it'll stay level. You know, if a heel is like this, the machine will turn, you know. So it's a very clever design. So it's designed to work on heels to make sure the depth where it's putting that tile is always the same, right? And so now the valves are shot in there, and so the machine tilts by itself. So they block the right side with a piece of timber. He says now we have to block the left side with a chain, otherwise he says it might twist on you when you go on the highway. And basically he says the machine is getting all new hoses, all new hydraulic hoses. They're gonna repaint it, and they're gonna fix these valves. And so yeah, it's going for like an overhaul pretty much. All right, and so now I'm gonna hook up so that we know how much room he needs to have for that blade in the front, because now it's too weight in the back, so it's gonna be too much weight on the trailer. And then I'm gonna pull forward, and he's gonna wash it. That'll take probably a couple of hours. Well, we got the machine on the trailer. We figured where to put the attachment down so that I don't have too much, otherwise it was too close to the end of the trailer, so I was afraid the truck will be overloaded. But it looks okay. I know that when that's in the middle, well, it's even less. You see, it less than the second. Like, I know if I'm like 60, 70, somewhere between 70 and 80 psi, that means I have 60,000 pounds. Actually, wait a second. Yeah, there was too much weight on the trailer, so we moved forward maybe like half a foot, but on the back I think I asked for 19 per axle, which is what, 80 minus 4, 8 for 76. Yeah, I don't think this one is that heavy because it doesn't have that big blade, the plow. And so we loaded, and then I pulled forward. I still didn't put any chains on because otherwise all binders will be screwed up. So they have a power wash. You see, that's how it should be done. Once they load you, because of course this machine, even if it goes like 10 feet on the dirt, it picks up lots of dirt between the grousers, you know. And that's what you have to do when you ship it internationally. So these guys, that's why they brought the pickup truck. You see, and it's high pressure wash, and they asked me to move like this forward so that they can park next to me because the road is wide over here. And I went, and I don't know, you cannot see this too far, but there's a tree in there. That's the farm. And I saw some movement. Some big bird was flying over a tree, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just a crow. And then I see the wings are like, I don't know, 7, 8 feet, you know, wide, and it's an eagle. You know, it's funny, when I was driving here talking to myself, I was thinking that maybe I should pick up, you know, wildlife photography again. Like, I got the camera, right? And I got, this is a 300mm lens, very nice lens. And I was just thinking, you know, what lens shall I buy again? Because this is a bit too short. What lens shall I buy to get into wildlife photography? Because I got all these tripods. I have a very good tripod. I got a tilting head, and the best thing, I have that what it's called, that was like 350 bucks US, like a little attachment that goes on your tripod that allows you to move the camera like up and down and like this. You know, it's very loose, but it gives you steadiness. I forgot about what it's called, but it's a special attachment you can either put it on a monopod or on a tripod. So if I could get, let's say, a 500mm lens like this, because this is a new design. You see how small it is, like a 300mm f4. They used to be like this huge, but now they use this new technology which allowed them to make it smaller, and now they have a model like this but 500mm. So anyway, and I'm thinking about wildlife, and then when these guys are washing it, I have nothing to do, so I decided to go and explore how I'm gonna get back on that road, because my permit wants me to go this way, but basically I have to get back to Highway 4, and I can get to that Highway 4 either by going this way or by going that way. I came from there, but there's the turn, it's a bit more difficult to go left, but then on the right you have a lot of room. There's no crops in there on the corner. I can go like this, and then there's a grass on the other side which doesn't look like, you know, it's level. I can go on the grass, so I don't know, I might need to go this way, but anyway. Oh, you see that? Oh, you don't see it. That's another eagle. So there's one eagle and there's the second one. So basically that was an eagle. And check this out. So that's what I noticed on the way back. Let me just turn off my camera here. I'm gonna show you here. Check this out. See this? Man. First I was shooting it from this side into the sun because I was afraid it would fly away. And then I went around from that side and going up. Look at this. I got some nice pictures. See, but still 300 is a bit too short. But if I had a 500, look at this. If I had a 500, that would be awesome. You know? And so I got a bunch of this, a bunch of photos. Yeah, you see, this was when I was shooting into the sun. No good. So I just wasted a bunch of shots, and I tried different exposures and nothing worked. The bird was too dark against the sky, you see. But then I thought, okay, let me try the other side, because you always shoot away from the sun, right? And as soon as I went there from the other side, you see, I started getting this much better pictures because it was directly lit by the sun. So I'm pretty sure I was waiting for the bird to fly, but you know, you're not supposed to disturb them. I didn't want to do. Who is this handsome devil? Look at this. Oh wow, that's me. So anyway, so it looks like they like that top of the tree because there's no it's like bare branches, you know, and they can sit there. It's kind of like their little observation deck, and they can probably look down, because of course these birds have a very acute eyesight. So if they can see some small animal like a rat or something, or you know, that's what they eat, right? If they see something in the field or crossing the road or something, they just go right down. So anyway, and I just got my permits. I got Ohio, I got Michigan, and the broker sent me the customs paperwork. So as soon as they finish washing, I can put my chains on, and then these guys are gonna help me get back on the road. So he says if you go this way to the right, if it's easier to make the right turn, which I'm no longer, because that's how I backed. I went in there and I was backing here, but now that I went there and I did my recon little mission, I see that it might be actually easier to turn left. So we'll see. But the guy was saying if I go right, he can help me get into the field over there. He says you can back out if you want to go this way. But so I'll still have to look into this, but that's my load. So like I said, it's this machine is I asked him how old it is. They said 2011. 2011. So the machine was built in Canada, in Woodstock, at this factory where they make these BRON machines, and now it's gonna go there for this big overhaul, fix the tilting cylinders, replace all hoses, hydraulic, and I'm guessing electric, whatever. He says all hoses, and repaint it. And he says They wanted to go there, do a tour of the factory, but the border is closed. He says, because that factory is actually, he says, in the brochure says it only takes them 96 hours to completely disassemble this machine. You know, and then they're gonna reassemble. And I was joking, I said, I bet there are gonna be some spare parts left when they reassemble. And they all started laughing. They said, yeah, happens to me all the time, one guy. You know, you take out 12 bolts and 12 nuts. When you're done, for some reason you have two bolts and 2 nuts extra lying on the floor. You know? Anyway, thanks for watching.